What is up? Welcome back to another NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Astaire, joined today by Tyler Hicks and NBA DFS strategy guru, who's not only going to give you the winners, he's going to talk you through the methods on how he gets there. Mr. Travis Mangone. Travis, how did your weekend treat you?
Yeah, weekend was good overall. No complaints. I think last time I was on, I don't know, I talked to Tyler about it. I think I just gave out the winner, and I don't know if anyone tailed it, but it felt like I just said hey, Simons, and it just worked out real well. Felt like I nailed that slate. Hopefully we can nail this slate. We got 3 games. I feel like I've had a really good grasp on these shorter slates, so excited to break that down. And spread, it wouldn't be an NBA rundown without talking some Lakers and Russell Westbrook. Am I right? We got Westbrook on the slate, baby.
Oh, wonderful. All right. Yeah, there's there's not, I really think that people have not put enough attention on this issue, right? I think
no, we need to talk Russell Westbrook. The chat needs it. It's not that they need it. They want it and they need it. It's both. I can't wait to talk about it with people. I'm sure the chat's filing in with their Russell Westbrook hot takes, and can't wait to break it down with you guys.
Yeah, all right. And Tyler, we had a rough night on the performance doubles. Do you want to talk about last night or just get right into today, Tyler?
No, we could just leave yesterday alone. Thank God for the NFL. That's all I'll say.
All right, yeah, and that was quite the interesting game there at the end, and maybe we'll touch on that on Talking Touchdowns. But let's talk about tonight. The first game on the docket is, hold on, of course my session expired because I haven't been on Bookmaker for over 10 minutes, so, they have to log me out. I wish you could make a setting to where it's I live alone, my cats aren't going to place bets for me, just leave it logged in.
No, it's because they don't want you to be able to fire on good bets when they're up there. They want you to re-log in. That's why they do it.
Yeah, that's another good point.
That's the main reason why.
So actually, the first game of the night to me is the best game of the night. And who would have thought this a couple weeks ago? As the Los Angeles Lakers looked like they were going to be one of the worst teams in the NBA. But Anthony Davis has really turned things around there. Maybe the stretch without LeBron on the floor helped him. Right? Remind him that, hey, I'm supposed to be the best player on the team. Maybe he's got too much of that little Robin personality, gave him a chance to be Batman for a couple of days, remind himself who he is. I also think that him and your favorite player to discuss, Travis, Russell Westbrook actually fit a lot better than LeBron and Westbrook fit together. Just Westbrook's ability to dish really seems to be amplified by having Davis down low when he's playing well and he's playing aggressive. Lakers numbers have been tough for me, Travis, because if you sort by last 5 or their recent play, they're going to be one of the best teams in the league. But, I still do, of course, have full season in there because we don't want to get swayed by 1 or 2 recent results. And it's telling me the Lakers really aren't that good a team, but I know they're not. It just really seems like they flipped the switch, and I should be throwing those first 15 games out. Then it becomes a question, right? You get to talk about your process. I'll talk about mine a little. Then it becomes a question, though. Am I unfairly doing it for a team that I pay more attention to, right? Obviously, the Lakers being the big franchise, right? I'm not altering my results for the Hornets or the Heat or other team, even the 76ers as much. So I think it brings it a tough question what to do when you're modeling and that, hey, these numbers are wrong. So that's kind of a struggle I'm having with the Lakers. And we talked about it a little bit before the show. And I said, well, you said, are the Lakers good or are they good right now? And I would say for the purposes of the show, all that matters is whether or not they're good right now. And I would argue that, yes, they are. This should be a great test for them tonight playing against Cleveland. Obviously, LeBron should be amped up. The boy from Akron comes home. And, of course, I'm sure Cleveland is going to want to beat him. Teams always get up to play LeBron, but I would think the Cavaliers, right, this is a little mini Super Bowl for them. So my original projections had the Cavs. I hated them. I threw it out. I've actually adjusted to try and take the Lakers plus the 5. What do you think, Travis?
Yeah, it's tough to bet against the Lakers right now. It definitely is not the easiest to bet against them. They're on just an absolute heater. AD has been crushing it, but this is not the easiest matchup. It is fair. So it's what's going to give? Is AD going to give, or is it going to be the defense? That's the big debate you have to make. I'm not dying to bet it on this game. I was looking at some, Tyler, we have those head-to-head props up. There's some up, but the one head-to-head one I thought was interesting. I'm curious to hear your take on it. Anthony Davis is minus 115 versus Donovan Mitchell minus 115 for points. Who scores more points? The problem is, Anthony Davis just always scores more points, it feels like right now. He's absolutely
why would you not take AD there? You should be minus 150.
You got to take AD there.
That's what I would take. It's not like a huge lean. When I look at like the numbers, you talk about modeling spread. When I look at the actual like line on the average points, it's definitely leaning. It's close. It's not even like there's like a lean to go one way or the other. So yeah, I thought that was interesting though. I was kind of pulling those up because I know we've talked about them a little bit on the shows, but if I had to pick, I'd pick AD as a wager there. When it comes to DFS tonight, and I haven't, I have ran the DraftKings stuff. So here it is. Let's look. This is my first look at actually seeing what's popped up. And first look, I do not see AD anywhere. I'll call
Wow.
it. And I guess it's because, one, he's really expensive. And if it's not just he's expensive, also Luka's expensive. Jokic is expensive. And when I do my first run, those guys are not popping up on teams. The reason why they're not popping up is because there's no value. Now we need value in order for that to work. That's going to be key. Could value open up? Sure. We know the NBA. Out of nowhere, someone could be out and it changes the entire slate. You got to pay 11.2 for Davis, 11.4 for Jokic, and then Luka is 13K. So it's a mid-tier build today. If you decide to go in and lock Anthony Davis or lock Luka or Jokic, you're going to be pretty different right off the bat. It's certainly a route that you can go to, but a lot of people are going more of that mid-tier and balanced build. And if you are going that mid-tier and balanced build, well, who's someone you're going to look at? I obviously think in this game, Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland could be two candidates, right, that you'd obviously want to consider. We just talked about the points of how it's close with AD. We know that the Lakers defense, it's not what I'm that scared of. I do think, yes, defensively, it's gotten better with AD being at that center spot the way that he's playing. But at the end of the day, I'm not like that scared of them overall. I am scared of like some of the guys that will either attack the rim or the guys that play around the rim, right? Now, Donovan Mitchell does attack the rim, but also shoot from downtown. I mean, we've seen that. So Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, both probably better plays. You could make an argument that Kevin Love is kind of in the conversation. I know Jared Allen is questionable. If he ends up being out, you'd have to think about Kevin Love at 5. We know how an elite of a producer he can be. He also doesn't play around the rim as much, right? He's willing to shoot that jump shot, grab those rebounds. So I think he's fine. I'd be a little more cautious with Evan Mobley, even though the minutes have been, they've been phenomenal, right? The minutes have been great. You see 38, 39. He's hard to argue with, but the matchup isn't the easiest, and he would fit that middling bill. But if I had to pick, I'd prefer the guards. If I have to pick, guards are the way I'm going on the Cleveland side. Lakers side of the ball, definitely not the easiest. Let's kind of dive into this. So I talked about the balance build is something we want to consider today, spread. Can I interest you in Russell Westbrook at 6.5K? I mean, if there's no Jared Allen, right, the rim protection is not as great. Yes, Evan Mobley is there and able to do the switches. And we are looking at more of a balanced build as the most optimal route. Russell Westbrook isn't popping in there a lot, but I'm seeing him as a guy that could be an interesting contrarian option in a balanced build. And 6.5 is a cheap price tag. So I don't think it's the worst idea to consider. I prefer Dennis Schroeder if I have to pick one Laker option to play. It is Schroeder at 4.1K just because of the minutes he's seeing. Look at that, 29, 31, 30, 29, and 30. It's just a really good spot, and we're lacking a ton of value on this slate. That's one of the key things that we have to discuss here. We just don't have value plays. Now, later on, if we get value, could Dennis Schroeder not be in the mix as much? Certainly. But right now, he is considered a pretty decent value play just because we don't have any to work with. It's just rough. The top values on this slate, one, it's Tim Hardaway Jr., who's been balling out pretty well. And then after that, when I look at the way I have my values sorted, the next one up is Tyler Hero. And here's the thing, that ain't a value. 7.2 is not value. So it's brutal. And it's early, right? It's early in the day. We're doing this at 1:11 p.m. So again, certainly other values can pop up and, things can change, but it's just a slate where we're starved for value and it's rough. So we have to be thinking about Dennis Schroeder. Also, maybe we need to create our own values. I do talk about these on these 3-game slates. Sometimes we have to think about, hey, who could be a good value play that we're not even considering? Maybe it's Austin Reeves. The guy has played minutes, 31, 31, 35, 32, and 25 minutes at 3.9K. Maybe we need to consider him. Maybe it's Patrick Beverley. The problem is, he has just been brutal. The minutes have been down too. I don't think I can get really to Beverley as much. Center isn't great. Could it be Thomas Bryant? I don't think so. The minutes have been bad for him. Troy Brown Jr.'s minutes, they're okay, but he's 3.2. I think I'd rather try to get to a Reeves, but he is a way cheaper price tag. I know Lonnie Walker was dealing with that injury. He came back, played 25 minutes. For 4.6K, it's not the worst. So you can kind of make up some of your own values with these Laker pieces. The Cleveland ones, it's a little bit tougher, but we need the Jared Allen news. And if we get the Jared Allen news, obviously Kevin Love, I think at 5-1 would become a little bit of a stronger value. It could help Shedai Osman a little bit, but he also could be a little worse. Karis LeVert's price tag at 4-5. We know what the upside can be, but he has not been like good. Like he's been really bad. So I would just kind of maybe pass on him. I mean, Dean Wade's not there, but do I want to play Lamar Stevens? Not really. Like I'd rather just maybe find another punt option. It's just brutal down here, spread. I don't know what to do value-wise for you. It seems like it's a tough spot to go with these guys. And you can make an argument. We got some other questionable guys in some other games. We obviously need that Jared Allen news. That's going to be key. And maybe we gain some value from some of the other questionable guys on this slate. I believe, actually, no, the Detroit-Miami stuff, we actually lost all that. So we don't have much questionable stuff. I guess on the Denver side, we have.
Can we touch on that? How the hell did Miami's injury report going from like 14 guys long to nobody in one day?
I was seriously just about to say that. I was looking at it right now. I just didn't want to interrupt. They had the whole team on there yesterday.
It won't let you go back and look at it either. It's like the entire team was there yesterday. Now everybody's fine.
Yeah, it's wild. And like the other thing too, like just again, the call out, like when I look at everything, like, dude, we have no value. Like it's just nothing. Like if you look below 5K, there is no one you're excited about besides maybe Tim Hardaway Jr. And like, you're maybe excited about it. And like, so it's going to be more of a balanced night. And when it is a balanced night, those studs, they go overlooked. The value plays, they go, they're not even there. So people aren't playing those guys. So if Luka goes for 80, right? Like you're going to need like one of these 3K guys to help make it work. So it's something to look at. I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but it's something to look at when you're kind of building out your lineups. And then that's going to cause a lot of ownership to condense on some of these plays that we're kind of getting to. Like I said, I think Donovan Mitchell becomes one of the chalkier guys in a more mid-tier balance build. I know he's expensive, but 8-7, he kind of fits that because if we're talking about like the stars and scrubs, it's going to guys that are like 11K and 13K. It's just context of the slate.
All right, Tyler, I already talked about how I'm having problems like just trying to statistically project this game. So I think we're going to just have to do it old school. Let's just look at the way that these two teams match up and the situation. So if we're approaching that game from this perspective, we're throwing out statistics, we're throwing out projections. We're just imagining these two teams on the floor. How do you see this game playing out, and who do you think has an edge here?
Man, I mean, Spread, you're having statistical problems projecting these teams. I'm having problems projecting who the hell's going to win the games. So this game, the Lakers look a lot better. The Cavs match up well, though. If Allen's in, I'll probably be on the Cavs. I think Mitchell's over 3.5 threes is a nice bet also. But, I mean, the Lakers are rolling, and to me, nothing makes sense in this league right now. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers step out there, AD goes nuclear again, LeBron shows up, and they wipe the floor with this Cavs team.
Yeah, and it sucks because the projections have been doing so good, especially last week. I talked about really not even having the energy to do these type of exercises, like think through the game of like, okay, how if Allen is in there, right? We can see, okay, Allen and Mobley could give AD some problems. There's two different ways to approach it. It's not just one guy that he can get in foul trouble, and they definitely play different. Mobley's more versatile if AD wants to go outside. Jared Allen would probably prefer to defend him in the post, right? So there's different things like that there. You would think that the Cleveland guards would be able to exploit the perimeter defense of the Lakers, right? It seems like a good matchup for both Garland and Mitchell, right? I mean, what are they going to put on them? Like Austin Reeves? I know Austin Reeves is a good defender, but you're not covering these guys even if you're like an elite defender. So just being a good defender is not going to cut it. And then, of course, the LeBron. Is he going to have a good night? I mean, there's some times that I think that more usage for LeBron is bad for this team.
Yeah, just give it the AD at this point, the way he's playing.
He's not the same guy he used to be. He's still a very good basketball player, but he's not just like that elite guy that has like a multitude of moves that can beat you 1,000 ways, right? It's like if he goes right, he's going to the rim. If he goes left, he's taking a three. He's not the same guy.
Yeah, Spread, can I ask you a betting question? Why? And this is just like eye test, right? Like I assumed, without looking at any totals, I assumed this game was a lower total than the Pistons and Heat game. That was just my assumption. Am I wrong to think that? Like me just thinking, I'm thinking under on this game and over on the Heat game. Is that wrong? Like what does kind of your model say about that?
Let me pull that one up right now.
I'm very curious because I really
right. So yeah, the Heat over was the biggest one of the night.
There we go. I mean, that was gonna be my favorite one. I'm not even lying. Like that one, and then like,
and that's not even that big an edge.
What about the under? What about the under on the Lakers? Would that that game? What's that looking like? Like 225.
Yeah, I have it going under by 3 points there.
Yeah, you know me, Spread. I am not a totals guy. Like I definitely more on the sides or the props. Like I don't know. I feel good about both those. Like I just don't. I think they should be flopped. I think it should be 220.5 for the other and 225.5 for the other one. That's
my worry though is like you look at these Lakers wins in their last 10. $116, 103, 128, 121, 143, 138, 129, 109, 133, 129, 130, 119. So basically, if you think this game goes under, you should like the Cavs because all the Cavs wins, mostly in the recent, 107, 96. They did lose a game to the Knicks. They kept both teams under 100 points in that one. Beat Detroit 102, 94. So they're the more low scoring team. If they're able to impose their will, I think it goes under. But if this Lakers team runs away with this game, this is going over.
You go, Spread.
How many of those games were without LeBron? I think this team plays faster without LeBron.
I'm not going to argue that, yeah, because he grabs the ball and holds it. He got to dribble between his legs 6 times before he shoots that little step back.
Same with Luka. Like we had the under in that game last night, and when Luka didn't come back in, it was just like, well, it's done. Because
also LeBron understands like we're feeding AD right now, and so it just turns into half court basketball, right? Mm-hmm. Like it just so it's like even if you get the rebound, like let's say AD, the rim protection's good, and they get a rebound. If Westbrook's not on the floor to run out and go in front, who's running out and going in front? Like, who's going to be just pushing the pace? Do any of these point guards strike you as, I'm going to push this pace? If anyone is, it's LeBron, but he's going to grab the ball. He's going to dribble it up. He's going to get it to AD and then just kind of set up the play. I just think the under is a very good bet here.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's a tough one. As Tyler shows, right, the Lakers have been an over team. The Cavaliers have been an under team. So you're just guessing which team is going to impose their pace on the other.
If you bet the over, you bet the Lakers, you bet the under, you bet the Cavs to gain extra juice. I don't think it's the worst idea.
That actually isn't the worst idea. All right, Tyler, you talked about a couple props in that game. Anything else you're looking at?
No, that's pretty much it for me. Just that Mitchell over 3.5 threes.
Okay, sounds good. Anything more on this one, Travis, before we move on to the showdown of the night, the Pistons and the Heat?
No, tough slate so far. The Lakers values are kind of intriguing, so we're mixing and matching them. And then we're looking at some of these Cavaliers guys, and we're waiting on the Jared Allen news. I mean, that Jared Allen news is going to be very important. And that could change also. Jared Allen being out could change this being more of an over, by the way. Or maybe not as much of an under, I should say.
Yeah,
just because
that's a great point.
Jared Allen's rim protection is very much important. So not saying I would change it to an over, but I don't know. Maybe I'll wait to bet this 225.5 just to wait on the Jared Allen news.
Yeah, that is true. It also might cause you to have to leave more people back and not be able to get 5 on that transition right away. The Detroit Pistons are plus 8.5 in Miami, taking on the Heat, total 220.5. Tyler and I kind of already expressed our displeasure at the idea that you can have the whole team on the injury report one day and then it's completely clean. I guess it makes it easier for us handicapping this game. Isaiah Livers is out.
Because guys are popping up on this injury report in about an hour.
Okay, but we also know
Monster hasn't tweeted out all day, or Underdog hasn't tweeted out all day. Here comes 9 tweets about Heat guys being questionable and probable.
Well, I'd assume that anyone who pops on from here on out, we can just rule out, right?
I also don't see why the Heat wouldn't sit guys here.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They just played last night. This injury report, this is wrong. Somebody's sitting here.
Yeah, this is where we queue up Brian Windhorst. The Heat have no one on the injury report. Now,
dude,
why?
And this is where my COVID brain is so stupid. I'm like, who'd they play last night? Oh yeah, Memphis. Oh god.
I
watch so much of that game.
How does no one sit here? How does not one person?
And they played in Memphis, traveling back to Miami. Yes, someone has to sit. Even if it's Hero that played the last couple of games while Butler was out, someone's not playing here.
I mean,
only argument against it is Spoelstra was in the media talking about these guys need to play through more stuff. I'm wondering if something happened behind the scenes where he's
The record. I mean, again, it's early, but they are 11-13, which spread 25 games through the season. If I told you Pacers are 13-11 and the Warriors are 13-12, better record, Indiana Pacers. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, I would say, boy, that sucks that Steph got injured.
Yeah,
But
it's funny. It's crazy how it works. So, but yeah, the Heat are. I mean, again, it's these like I'm looking at the actual standings. I haven't looked at them yet this year. Hawks are 13-11, while the Heat are 11-13. That gap is the 4 seed and the 9 seed. So that's kind of funny.
that happened last year too. Remember?
Yeah,
So.
I'm not surprised it's like that so far to start the year. But yeah, I don't see it. I mean, me and Tyler, I guess, are in sync on thinking someone's going to sit. We just don't know who, right? We're just kind of like, we got to wait and see. But obviously, we'll have to talk about it. I think the over is a great bet, though, spread. Like, I don't see the Pistons. The one thing I've liked about them this year is they do not play a lot of defense, but they have the offense to keep up now, right? Like, they actually have it. Now, you can make the argument that, yes, without Cade Cunningham, their offense isn't as great, but that's helped Jaden Ivey thrive a little bit more. Killian Hayes has been kind of surprisingly decent. So we'll at least give him a little bit of credit. And Detroit is actually playing some of their better players, right? Even though, like, Marvin Bagley, I'm not saying this guy's like an NBA All-Star or something, but like, he should probably be playing on this roster, right? He should probably be getting
shouldn't. He's absolutely terrible. He's like one of the worst defenders I've ever seen.
But who cares? He should be. But who else do they have?
I don't know. I'm just saying. I just disagree with him.
The point I'm getting is you could play him or you could play like Durant.
Like Marvin Bagley's like great value Christian Wood.
He's not good. I agree. And that's the other thing that's great for the over is more.
How many good players do they have on this team?
Yeah. Like, I just think
Bojan,
like
Jaden,
you watch the Kings, Fred. They should have been playing Marvin Bagley. Like, they just should have.
No, they shouldn't have.
Yes, they should have. They should.
How do you tell your team like you got to defend and then you throw that guy out there every night?
I mean, it's fair. I will as someone that again, this is probably a really bad comparison. I'm gonna at least start with that. Whenever I play hoops with someone and they're not playing defense, unless they say like, that was my fault and they're taking a lot of ownership,
they don't get the ball anymore.
I get pissed. I'm like, dude, like, come on, like you can't let this guy go by you 3 times. He goes by. Listen, sometimes I'm a little tired, right? And I'll be like, yeah, I should have covered that. I made a mistake. Then you make sure to go a little harder. Yeah, if Marvin Bagley, I'll admit, if Marvin Bagley was out there just getting dogged every single possession of the pick and roll, I'd get frustrated too, Spread. So maybe you're right.
And we won't do the full exercise, but just think of like a winning team's rotation that he could crack.
Well, I'm not saying he's on a winning team. I'm saying on this team, they don't have anyone. Like, at least at like the big man spot. It's Isaiah Stewart. I mean, they should play Sadiq Bey more. I don't know what they've been doing. These minutes have been so up and down. Like, so this is a guy, great DFS conversation with Sadiq Bey. If Sadiq Bey's got ownership tonight, why on earth are we playing him if he's like 50% owned? Because we know what his downside can be. Like, let's at least call that out. So I at least want to say that. I don't know what his ownerships can be. I don't think it at all will be that high. But if it somehow gets up there, I'm going to consider, hey, I don't need to play a chalky Sadiq Bey. I don't think it's going to get there, though. Isaiah Stewart at 5'6", he at least gets safe minutes, but the matchup's not easy against Bam Adebayo. That's a concern, obviously. Bogdanović at 6'8", the thing I like about him is the usage is there, and if the game does stay competitive, who's going to be the reason why? It's probably him. It's either him, Jaden Ivey could be in the mix of it, so could Killian Hayes. The big issue that you have, though, is do you want to pay these price tags on these guys? Like, 6'2" for Killian Hayes is a lot. Now, he has shown a ceiling, but I don't know. Do I want to pay 6'2" for Killian Hayes? That's just a tough thing to decide here. Alec Burks at 5K. We know he can obviously shoot the ball pretty well. But do I want to waste 5K on him? It's just these balanced builds are where everyone's going to be leaning to. And I don't know what to do with these Detroit guys because I do feel like they have the opportunity to get there, but there is some bust potential, right? Like it's got to be a little concerning. And then on the Heat side, we're thinking someone sits, but let's say no one sits. Let's at least try and figure this out. And we don't have value on this slate, so we need to find something. And when you don't have value, you know what you got to do sometimes? You just full on punt the position. You just say, hey, let me go all the way to the basement. And one of those guys could be Gabe Vincent. Now, 14 minutes against Memphis, 0 for 2, 0.25 DK points. I get that. But all the other games, the minutes have been solid. I'm not expecting that same exact game. I think Gabe Vincent is in the conversation because of what he does for your full lineup. Not saying I love him that much as a play. Tyler Hero at 7-2. That's a guy that he has been popping off, and he's had some really good minutes. You see 40, 37, 39, 40. On these short slates, sometimes I just say, hey, let me just go grab the guy that's going to play a million minutes. And he looks like a candidate for that for sure. Detroit, obviously not a good defending team. When you have teams that are not good at defending, you want to target some teams, and sometimes you might want to overload on them because it's a 3-game slate and say, listen, I don't need to have a piece of everything, but you know what I can do? I can target that bad defense and just destroy them. And Jimmy Butler, he could be one of those guys that you kind of take a chance on at 8.6K, but we do know Jimmy sometimes too. I love Jimmy Butler, fun to play, but he takes games off sometimes and gets you 20 DK points. So if he's high owned, it's just something to think a little bit about for sure. He's only power forward eligible and forward and utility. So that kind of hurts him a little bit there too. So again, that's something I'll look at. Bam Adebayo, you have to play a center on the slate. Centers against Detroit have crushed. I mean, absolutely smashed. So I don't know. If I think about it a little bit, I'm kind of thinking I might lean, as crazy as it sounds, I might lean Bam Adebayo over Jimmy Butler on this slate spread, just because I think matchup-wise, centers against the Detroit Pistons have just been absolutely crushing. It's just every time. It's just centers against the Pistons. Center, you just keep plugging it in.
Give me the first guy you talked about, man.
What?
I mean, you look at, give me Hero out of those three.
Well, yeah, Hero over him.
He's put up against Detroit. He's averaging 27, 7, and 6 in 4 games. 31, 8, and 3, 29, 4, and 4, 29, 5, and 4. He's getting all the minutes. They'll be there.
I agree. You're right. Hero's number 1. I go Bam 2, and then I go Butler 3 if I had to pick from like the stud ones. And another great point to bring up about the Pistons matchup that you, as you're talking about it, I kind of thought about, Tyler. When do you worry about Tyler Hero? You worry about him when you got teams like the Celtics that just literally attack him, and they're like, yeah, we're going to attack you. Like you're not that good defensively. They wear his legs out. Are the Pistons wearing out Tyler Hero's legs defensively? Are they going to attack him? Is Killian Hayes, is he sitting there and going, this is barbecue chicken, Tyler Hero, and calling him out?
He said that to Dallas when I had Dallas a few nights ago.
Yeah. I mean, Luka will do that, right? But like, you're not going to have that happen. Like the Killian Hayes and Jaden Ivey aren't pulling that. And so I think Hero, agree, best play on the Heat side, followed by Bam Adebayo, followed by Jimmy Butler, as crazy as that sounds. I just think that the matchups are good for those two.
Jimmy just got rolled out. There it goes right there.
What?
No
Jimmy
way.
Butler conditioning listed out Tuesday.
Oh,
you know how like we clip when we hit winning parlays? We should almost like clip that one, Tyler. We're sitting here breaking down this game, and you're like, someone's going to get rolled.
Here they all come. Yeah, here they all come.
Here they come. We nailed this. I'm somehow going to log into the book and see if I can make a bet. I doubt I can. I'm sure it's going to be off, but let's see if I can pull it off. I'm sure it's all.
What are you trying to do? Take the Pistons and it? Wow. Yeah.
Hero probable. Max Strauss probable. Gabe Vincent questionable. Victor Oladipo questionable. Highsmith probable. Robinson probable. Deadman probable. They all come.
Off. My book's off.
I'm trying to beat it. I don't think I got there.
I don't think we did.
First basket's locked. I was trying.
First basket.
Sometimes they don't lock first basket in time. Sometimes you can get those in.
Unbelievable. If you want, I'll send you a chart for that.
No, I don't care that much about it.
It shows you
it's mainly if you get guys ruled out, right, you're just naturally gaining value. And I was gonna put like $5.
I feel like
it shows you the percentage of each team and then percentage of each opposing team and what position they give up the first basket to.
Interesting. Did you see last night Scotty Barnes like first basket method was like
somebody had $5 on it to win like $5.50 and it was a free throw and he missed them both.
Yeah. It was
no way.
Yep.
I feel like
he hasn't been playing that well this year.
No, he hasn't. So yeah, we got Deadman. By the way, Deadman questionable is more.
It reopened at 7.
What?
It reopened at 7.
So, want to call this out? Deadman questionable is way more valuable than people I think realize. Just because, like, they're not going to play. Like, think about the 5, right? Spread. Who's going to play the 5? It's going to be Bam and then Jovic, right? And then Butler's already out. So then who slides in at the 4? Caleb Martin probably slides in for more 4 time. Maybe some high. I mean, this is going to be great for Lowry too, by the way. 6-7 for Kyle Lowry. Like, sign me up. Like, Lowry, especially with Vincent. Vincent has the questionable tag too, right? You said that?
Yeah, he's questionable.
Okay, so let's go through my new rankings. My new rankings are going to be, I think I'm going to say, Hero 1, maybe Lowry too. And it might even be like, I might even like flop the Lowry and Hero for 1 and 2. The reason I have Hero at 1 is because of the shooting guard position. I feel like that kind of helps lock in a shooting guard position. That's not bad. Shooting guard is normally kind of rough. It's not terrible today, but it's normally the rougher spot. So go Hero, Lowry, they're close. And then probably Bam. I wouldn't hate playing all three, just like kind of onslaught in all three and just kind of being like, I'll figure out the rest. And that is going to be more of that balanced build. Like that's going to keep you away from getting Luka or Jokic. And maybe an idea, if we get enough value, maybe an idea is saying, I'm going to play Lowry and Hero, and Bam Adebayo is 8K, and those other two guys are cheaper. Maybe that's how I grab Anthony Davis or Jokic. Like that might be a sick little setup. Like let me just plug it in and see. And we're just, again, we got tons of time. It's a 3-game slate. I get dealt these hands, and I'm okay with it. I think it's fun new. These 3-game slates are a lot of fun to me. So Lowry, we'll plug in Hero, and let's put in Jokic. We're at 5K for our last 3 spots. That is certainly viable. So I think this could help unlock a really interesting build to grab one of these studs in Jokic or Davis at that center position. So, but those are the 3 Heat guys I like the most. It's Bam, it's Lowry, it's Hero, at least from the studs. And then you try and figure out what are the values to go to. Obviously, we maybe lost Vincent. I don't love the price tag that we have on Caleb Martin. Jovic being a center is kind of rough. I'm trying to figure out who that like other guy could be. Maybe Duncan Robinson could get some run, Tyler, because again, we talked about the defense. They're not, I mean, they can try and attack Duncan Robinson, but I don't think it'll matter that much. Max Struss could easily hit from downtown. Like one of these guys that can shoot threes could be intriguing. And the Duncan Robinson punt at 3-2, that could be enticing to help make a lot of stuff work for your lineup. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like
Robinson.
that. I like that call, and especially
we don't have anything spread. It's so the whole point of it is just you're pure punting a spot to just make things work, right? So if we look at the power forward position only, just power forward, and go down the list, who are you interested in playing? LeBron James at 10-4 spread. You can stop me when you're ready, okay? Jimmy Butler's out. Evan Mobley's 7-6. Bogdanovich at 6'8". Are we jumping to play him? Aaron Gordon at 5'9". Isaiah Stewart, 5'6" against Bam defense. Sadiq Bey, who knows what you're getting. Kevin Love at 5'1". I think that's where I get stopped.
I like Kevin Love.
But what if Allen's in? Are you still loving Kevin Love?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think he's fine.
I mean, just because we have to do something, right?
Agreed. But that's why my point of like, sometimes you just full punt the position and like hope.
So you're saying rather than go to 5-1, you're only going to spend 3K there and it gives you another 2K because you figure you don't even want Kevin Love to begin with?
Well, so here's the thing. I could like Kevin Love. I'm not trying to talk bad about him. Like he could be a good play, but I do think the power forward position is naturally thin. It's just not as good of a position, especially now that you lost Jimmy Butler, right? Especially if Jared Allen plays. If Jared Allen plays, that hurts Love and it hurts Mobley. And you're just naturally not in love with these guys. Now, is Bogdanovich fine? Yeah, he's fine. He's not a bad play, but again, he's expensive.
LeBron balls out when playing against Cleveland. LeBron's going to do good tonight. I probably agree with you guys. The usage is going to be there. Can I make the same argument for Kevin Love? You don't think he's going to be like just a little bit jacked too to get in there? And
sure, that's not the argument here. That I think LeBron could be fine. My issue is one, he could play great and all, but the big issue I have with the situation is LeBron is expensive. He's not easy to get, right? Like
my point is, I think that even if Allen plays, I think Love should still be under heavy consideration.
I agree. I agree. I agree with you, Spread. My point being though is you finally stopped me at 5.1K. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I almost stopped you at Sadiq Bey, and then I thought about what I was doing.
And then it's So the point I'm getting at, I just think it's more of a thin position. On the flip side, for the LeBron argument, if power forward's weak, sometimes just grabbing the raw points of the position is worth it. And that could be worth it with LeBron. LeBron could be a better stud. Maybe it's better to go LeBron if we have some value in some other spots that are interesting. So, I don't think LeBron is bad. I'm not going to say he's going to be a bad player or anything like that. It's all about construction. It's also all about the values that we get, right? We need some of the news. We don't have it all. If Gabe Vincent sits, let me tell you, I would rather make sure I'm prioritizing these Heat mid-tier guys than trying to go grab up a LeBron. You know what I mean? Like a Kyle Lowry and a Tyler Hero, their minutes would be insane. Like, let's just look at the Miami Heat's guards. Let's say you have no Oladipo and no Gabe Vincent, okay? Who are their guards tomorrow? Their guards are, at least when it comes to DraftKings, Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, a Drew Smith. I don't know what a Drew Smith is. Might be a nice guy, but I don't expect him to be.
I said it sounds like a 90s R&B singer, and I still haven't found out.
Yeah, he does. Max Struss, could he play? Could he play at the 2? Yes, but if they are thinner at the 4 and the 3, would you maybe put him down there? Yeah, I think you definitely could. Jamal Cain, is he really a shooting guard? Not really. So what I'm getting at is these guards could definitely be more of the priority. And maybe it's going those two guys and then going LeBron and not prioritizing that center. But at the end of the day, you will need a center on your team. And your value centers, I mean, yeah, I guess you could plug Love in there maybe. But when you look at the center spot, Kevin Love is 5'1", and then do you know what happens, Spread? The next closest guy is 3.6K Jovic. So all these centers are not fun to roster down here.
If Dedmon's out, can I consider Jovic?
I guess, but I don't think they want to play him. I wouldn't be shocked if Jovic and Bam Adebayo soak up all 48 of the center minutes. And you know how many minutes Bam gets?
40.
Between 30, 38, and 40. And then what, 10 to 12 go to Jovic? That's certainly possible. So
yeah, that would suck.
Yeah, so like that's kind of what I'm getting at there of why it's, I don't know. Again, I'm not the LeBron Cleveland narrative. Yeah, I expect him to, sure, if he gets rolling, he's going to keep doing it. But you think LeBron is going to definitely like stop this AD train? Like the AD train's been good. Obviously, if LeBron's rolling in Cleveland, he's keep going.
I do. I think he's got that type of ego.
Well, he does that. Yes,
I think in his mind tonight, this is the LeBron show, right? I mean, people are showing up to see him.
It could be.
Doesn't that make you like the Cavs side a little bit more?
The more that we're talking about this, the more I do. I'm with you. I'm waiting for that Jared Allen news. I think that if he's in, I would just take the points. I don't know if I'll take the money line.
It also gives the mismatch to Cleveland in the front court because who the hell is covering Mobley at that point? LeBron's not playing.
They'll put AD on Mobley.
Well, if Allen plays,
then Allen should have a big night because I think they would still put AD on Mobley.
Yeah, I'm about to say one of those two guys is going off if they both play because they're.
Do you think that'll get some Thomas Bryant minutes in there?
Maybe, but he's also not a good defender.
Yeah,
it's just a big body to sit there and.
By the way, one thing to call out with this slate, just like, and I feel like people might think I've slandered LeBron here, and I'm not trying to. We don't have value right now to get up to studs. Like, it's very difficult. You can maybe get one, but like that could totally change later on in the day, especially with like how the news shakes out. It's difficult to get up there. So whenever we talk about anyone above 10K, I'm going to struggle a little bit. But to be fair, those guys are going to be lower owned. And the argument to make for LeBron that, as we kind of talk about it, it is intriguing is there's of the guys above, like, it's 8-7 is like Mitchell, and then there's a gap, and then it goes to LeBron at 10-4. And he's in this like weird like dead zone where like, I mean, it goes Donovan Mitchell at 8-7, LeBron at 10-4, and then AD at 11-2. Like, it's just like a dead zone. I don't think people will land on that much. So it could be interesting. We'll see. LeBron, though, I mean, he's fine. He could easily get the job done. I prefer, obviously, trying to target some of these Heat guys. And I don't want to go too crazy with this Lakers-Cavs game. I think, like, getting a piece or two is fine, but I think you're really going to want to try and look for these, like, mid-tier options. Like I said, these Cavs mid-tier guys are interesting. Maybe it's, like, Love and, like, a Mitchell, and then you're playing, like, a Lowry and a Hero. You look for some value plays, like Tim Hardaway Jr., who we'll get to, and maybe one of these Heat guys, but it's a tough slate for sure. And it seems like if we don't get enough value, a lot of people will be on similar paths for sure.
How many guys are too many from this game?
You can make the argument like if you had to pick the game of the night, this is the game of the night, especially because we just got Jimmy Butler out. That makes it like for sure the game that people are going to target. It's a 3-game slate. You could certainly play from the Heat side alone. I didn't even play 3 or 4 for sure. Okay. I want to see kind of what the optos are doing. And one thing I know, Tyler, I always talk about, hey, if everyone's playing like 4 Heat, I might play like only 3 or like 2. But like the problem is what are like the alternative values and or the alternative plays, and the alternative plays just might not be as good, where I might eat some of these good Heat chalk plays and then get different with my other options that I'm playing. Maybe instead of playing Donovan Mitchell, maybe I go down to Russell Westbrook, right? And save 2K, hope the gap between them is only 5 to 10 DK points, and then gain some money in another spot. So those are things that I might look at. I like to look at the build and see the two routes it's going. And for me, I might just eat a lot of this Heat chalk, and then from there, flip the other options that I'm playing. Or maybe I'll mix and match the way I'm playing those Heat chalk guys. Let's say most teams are going Hero. They're going Hero, Lowry, and Bam Adebayo on most teams. Maybe I'll just fade one of them. The other night, if you played on Sunday, a lot of teams were going DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Nikola Vucevic on every single team. I said, I'm not playing. I'll play either one or two. And I wanted to play one, but I ended up going two. Luckily, I went two because the guy I wanted to play was Vucevic, who was awful, but I ended up getting Zach LaVine, who dropped 62. So I ended up getting lucky in that manner. But sometimes you have to think about, hey, if everyone's going to play all three, which I don't know if they are, but it's possible. Maybe you only play two of them, or maybe you play the three, and maybe when you play that three, you don't play that really good value play for the Heat, or maybe you get off of Bam Adebayo, and then you play one of those other good value plays for the Heat that are interesting. So that's just kind of how I toy around with it, and I won't know until we get closer to lock. I'll be on the Hardwood show, so I'll talk about it there. I'll update my content. So yeah, that's definitely going to be one of the key points on this slate. And then once I go from there, it's going to be, hey, how do I handle the other, 3 to 5 spots that I'm rostering? And how do I make those different, or do I keep them more chalky based on how I built my Heat?
Tyler, when we originally pulled up to the numbers today, I thought for sure AD would be the spend up that I would say is the best spend up on the slate. As we talk about it, I'm wondering how much you think LeBron will eat in his usage, and who do you think is the top spend up tonight?
Spend up is tough for me personally because just like
Mangone, you hate Jokic, so he can't be him.
I'm not touching that guy who doesn't shoot the ball. I don't want to play AD now with the LeBron thing. I don't want to play LeBron because I think he kind of needs the garbage time like he did game one. Remember, they were down. He came out in the fourth quarter. He said, screw it, I'm chucking the ball all fourth quarter. That's where he scored most of his fantasy points. To be honest, I know he's not a spend up, but I think Hero's the best play on the board. I think he's going to absolutely destroy this Pistons team.
Yeah, and he'll be chalky. This is what I'm saying, Tyler. You can eat this good Heat chalk, and then you know what we can do? Russell Westbrook, baby. We turned a corner spread. We're Team Westbrook possibly tonight.
I actually like him too at this price range because the more we've talked about it, right? Tyler kind of put some holes in every single one to spend up. You already said the day was going towards a balanced build. What's wrong with having a bunch of don't go on anyone below 4K, right? Screw Tim Hardaway Jr.
The biggest hole that there is we don't have values. Now we could gain values to be able to make it work. And
even looking at that, what value did really open up on the Heat?
Yeah, but we just gained 9 guys on the injury report, and I'm not sure we really gained value. We just gained more usage.
Let's say Deadman sits. Who did that really open up?
It just made Bam a better play.
Well, it does make those mid tiers kind of better. You can make that argument, which I don't disagree with. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking this Duncan Robinson thing is not as crazy as I don't know. I don't think he's the craziest idea.
This Lakers Cavs matchup happened already this year with all the guys on the floor. Garland was there, Mitchell was there, Mobley was there, Allen was there, Kevin Love was there, and on the other side, LeBron, AD, Westbrook, the only guy missing, Schroeder. Westbrook went for 19 points, 10 assists, 3 rebounds, hit 3 threes in that game, shot 6 for 13. That's a pretty good game. He was able to hit the outside shots with the big guys on the floor. If Allen does sit, he'll be able to get to the rim a lot more. I like that call on him today.
Yeah, that might be how I'm different, right? I might just eat really good Heat mid-tier chalk options. And then I think a lot of people are going to be eating some of these Cavs guys, which I think are fine. They're going to play Tim Hardaway Jr. as a value. He's going to be a value everywhere. And then, I don't know, maybe I just take the chance and I say, hey, let me, instead of playing Donovan Mitchell, maybe I take my shot on Russell Westbrook at 6'5" to upgrade another spot. I don't know. I just think it's not a terrible idea for sure. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. It sounds a little crazy, but again, it's what is it? 147. So tough to figure it out.
All right. And I
Who
like
gets
how
that-
you're
who gets that
adjusting the
wing
time
starting
because I know it's
spot
not
on the-
147 where you're at.
On the Heat?
Tyler.
On the Cavs? Who gets that 3 starting spot? Is it Stevens or is it LeVert?
It's Stevens. Stevens is like, I kind of like talked a little badly about him earlier, but like it's not the worst idea because it's like it's just a starter that you're hoping like falls into minutes, right?
Well, it's just the thing too is like who's LeBron covering, because we all know he's going to focus on offense. He's really not going to pay attention on defense.
That's why the Cavaliers are easy though. Whoever's the small forward, he just covers them.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is it going to be Stevenson more? Is it going to be LeVert? Because LeVert's one of them guys. Like, would it really surprise you, Mangone, if at the end of the night he had 40 plus fantasy points? He's done it before.
I don't know if I want to gamble. I don't know if I want to gamble on him.
It's a gamble, but it's like
not the worst gamble.
He can get there if LeBron's just lackadaisical on defense and he gets hot from 3.
It's not the worst. The price tag, totally. Is he small forward and power forward eligible? I forget. Is he both or what?
Shooting guard, small forward eligible.
Shooting guard, small. So he could be guard too. It's not the worst idea. So this is where like creating your own value kind of comes into play. Like, but the other thing you have to be really conscious of on these slates, like, and I'm very conscious of it, is like, we can't sit here and be like, listen, let me play. Like, let's not try and hit like a Karis LeVert, right? We'll put him on a team. And then let's put Sadiq Bey just because he's kind of very up and down player. And then who's another guy that's like kind of up and down at times?
Russ.
Let's do Maxi Kleber, right? He's hot and cold. Let's not try and hit a 3-leg parlay of Karis LeVert, Sadiq Bey, and Maxi Kleber. Like, if you're going to roster like these like really rough floor guys, don't put too many in your lineup, right? Like, think about that. That's something I consider a lot, but I'm going to consider on this slate for sure. I don't want to put too many in there. 3 seems like too much. Maybe you can take the chance on 2, but it always depends on how it kind of goes.
All right. Well,
I was
think
also
JSU
looking for one of these guys because Tim Hardaway, you said great play, cheap guy, 4,400.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at those guys right around him and seeing which one maybe could catch him. You know what I mean? Like, he's 44, LeVert's 45, Walker's 46, Dorian Finney-Smith's 47. Could any of them outscore him and be the higher guy at a much lower ownership?
Correct, and I do not trust Tim Hardaway Jr. If he shoots 1 for 13 today, I am not surprised. I am. Yep. I mean, it's just and that dude's gonna be like that. He's gonna be like 60 to 80% owned. It's gonna be like insane. His ownership. It's gonna be wild. Like, even a Caleb Martin for a little bit more. Like, you know who like people hate to play, and I play him at times, and he has been awful lately. He has not been good, but I rostered him against Golden State. Dorian Finney-Smith, the dude gets minutes. He plays on the court for a long time. He didn't play against Phoenix last night a lot because it was a blowout. But if you don't think the game's a blowout, he's gonna play 30 plus minutes. And when I had a good night the other day against Golden State, it was that night. It was the day I like Simons, right? You remember when I gave you that construction I talked about, Tyler, and everything I talked about on the show here? My last guy in was Dorian Finney-Smith, and I said I don't like this guy, but you know what? On a 3-game slate, the dude's going to be 10 to 15% owned. And you know what the difference was? 4.5K got me 20.75 DK points. Does that win you a slate at all? No. But other guys at small forward who were values lost you the slate, and that was enough to get me closer to the top of the leaderboard.
You want to hear Tim Hardaway's most recent games against Denver? You're going to love this.
Oh, gosh, what is it?
He played 21 minutes the first game. He had 10 fantasy points. He had 2 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. He shot 0 for 9 and 0 for 5 from 3. They played him back to back. Yeah, he starts.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of a different role, I'm sure. It is, man, like I will say, like Dylan Brooks yesterday, right? He felt unfadable, right? The dude felt unfadable. Even me, I was like, because like the Pacer situation was unknown, I was like, man, I hate Dylan Brooks. I don't want to play him as chalk. And what did he do? He didn't get you there. He got you 24, 25. And that's not great for 6K. Like,
what are your opinions on Dylan Brooks as a player? You like him or do you not?
I used to like him.
Spread thinks him and JC are like the only 2 guys at Rumpure that like Dylan Brooks. The rest of us hate him.
I hate him. So
I can't stand the dude. I think he's just all fouls and
I
chucks.
think I'm right. I think if I showed up to our thing in a Dylan Brooks jersey, I wouldn't even be allowed in the house.
Yeah, I'm dreading the Memphis situation tomorrow because like we have a big slate and like if all these Memphis guys sit against OKC, how do I fade Dylan Brooks? And I got 2 tickets to that 8888 tomorrow, and like I don't want to do it. Like please play John Morant, play all the Memphis guys. Please be in the lineup so I don't have to roster you tomorrow.
All right. Try and get this show back on track. Tyler, the Detroit Pistons are now plus 6.5 in Miami, taking on the Heat. I think that's what we were before we got the news. I was throwing the game over to you. From a betting perspective, who do you like? The total has barely moved. It dropped a half a point to 220.
Yeah, I mean, probably on the Heat, but I'm not betting the -7 or 6.5, whatever it's at. Once Hero's performance doubles come back up in BAMs, dude, that's where I'll be at. They had a 3+ threes for Hero, and they win at plus 130. The odds will probably be a little worse than that. Maybe it'll be 4+ threes. I think he absolutely just destroys his team tonight. I'll be on that. And then a BAM double and win for the Heat also.
All right. So, Travis, it's a 3-game slate, but it feels like we've almost ignored this late night game, right?
I mean,
it feels like we've been on
before we get to that game. We probably should have thought about this Hayden Highsmith dude. Like, he's another like full punt you could take a chance on. But like, again, like I don't like playing the 4K guys as much as like the full punts because what it does for your full lineup at times. So okay. I'll throw that in there. But like, I always lean these, like, if you're going to like create your own values, try to like create them with like, Maxi Kleber, who's coming up. That's always a fun time.
Well, let's talk about this game. So, not to be overly simplistic, but I'd put the Mavericks in the Warriors category where I was simply going to bet them at home and fade them on the road. This seems to be an issue where, an opportunity to take advantage of that, right? Because even though it was an easy game and easy scoring, you say they won't, they didn't play a lot, especially the starters. I had the game on. I don't think Luka played the whole fourth quarter. But it still feels like it's a potential letdown opportunity, right? Because of how much that game means to them. Now, I don't know if these teams are particular rivals. It feels like they should be with their close proximity geographically, but I can't really remember any like really heated games between the teams or them sniping in the media or anything like that. Denver Nuggets are a tough team to back right now. I know Tyler absolutely hates this team. And Jokic has been kind of up and down this year, coming off the 2 MVPs in a row. Just off my earlier system, though, I'd like to fade the Mavericks, but it feels like the books priced this in here. My model still did tell me to take the Nuggets as well, though. Maybe accounting a little bit more for the fatigue that might not be there with them not really playing their starters in the fourth. So I'm leading the Nuggets here, and I didn't really – let's see, what do we have on the total on that one? Let me scroll down. My computer's going slow.
222.5 is what I see right now.
I had it at 225, so slightly into the over as well. What are your thoughts, Travis?
Yeah, betting-wise, I don't love this game from any betting perspective.
But let's just say you had to bet it. You're laying the 5, right?
Gun to my head to bet this game, I might pull the trigger for the guy.
I'd bet on Denver probably if I have to pick, but okay. I'm not comfortable with it. I'll say that. But there's definitely stuff to talk about here. I mean, so I guess let's Luka and Jokic, they're very hard to get to. If you have the value to get them, they're great plays. No argument with that. So let's at least start there. Let's talk about some of these other options. So Tim Hardaway Jr., he is going to be a very chalky option on this slate. Think he's a good play, but again, like if he misses his shots, it's not going to work out for him. And you know who could make their shots? Dorian Finney-Smith. I don't think it's the craziest idea. It's a 3-game slate. It's ugly. Reggie Bullock has clearly kind of been not really getting as much run too. If this game is competitive, he will get work. So definitely think he's in the conversation. I know I said let's like try and create our own values, but we're not creating our own values with Davis Bertans. I'm good. Maxi Kleber will depend on his ownership. If Maxi Kleber is not really that owned, I think he's an interesting pure punt option. If he is owned, it's Maxi Kleber, right? He's not really the best guy to be chalk at times. So I'm good with that. I know Kemba Walker's on that team, but I don't think he's making his debut anytime soon. So we're not going to talk about him. Hardy, all these guys, it just seems rough. Dinwiddie's another one of those mid-tier values if you want to take a chance on, right? But he also has some downside too. So, but if we are going to get different, right? I talked about Russell Westbrook as a differentiation guy. Dinwiddie has a ceiling. So I don't think it's the worst idea. And If Spencer Dinwiddie has a good game spread, then Tim Hardaway Jr. probably doesn't, more than likely, right? I think that's kind of the assumption there. So I think that Dinwiddie could be an interesting leverage option on this mid-tier builds that we're talking about. Typically when the mid-range build is the way to go, you make the argument that like going a stud is the sharp route, but we just don't have enough value. So for me, it's like trying to play this mid-tier build and then try to find a way to make it different. So that's why I'm trying to look at some of these pieces and try to find a way to get different with it. We talked about center not being great. Maybe it's with Christian Wood. I mean, he won't see Jokic as much, so that's at least encouraging. I doubt I'll get to him, though. I think there's other – like I'd rather just find the money for Bam Adebayo more than likely, or punt with a Maxi Kleber instead, I think. But you certainly could go about that route. Let's go over to Denver. I know they're dealing with some injuries, and the injuries are Jeff Green, Peyton Watson, and KCP. So Aaron Gordon, 5'9", that's a lot. Bruce Brown, that's a lot. Yes, there's no Michael Porter Jr.
Bruce Brown, I have interest in.
Okay, he's 6'1", man. Gosh, I can't.
That's too much. That's where I'm not an expert.
I don't know. It's a lot. I mean, could he get there? Yeah. I mean, but I don't know.
Spread 6-1 for Bruce Brown, or you want to spend an extra $400 and go get Westbrook?
Yeah, good point.
They are different positions, to be fair, but yeah, I don't disagree with you. Could this be good for Bones Highland? 5'4", probably not. It just seems like it's a little too much. If KCP doesn't play, who's like the guy benefiting, right? Like if all these guys don't play, is there any like scrub here that kind of comes into play?
Is it the kid out of Kansas? Doesn't he get a little bit more minutes? But I think it just kind of funnels back to Bruce Brown and Bones.
They've been giving the minutes to Kankar. Maybe it's Kankar. He's been getting more run. He's at 15, 17, 21. He's been kind of getting some run. So especially if Jeff Green sat, right? Like if Jeff Green sat, well, like someone like it ain't like Jack White's just popping in there, right? The only guys you can play are Jokic. It's a good old DeAndre Jordan revenge game. Let's get that one on the board spread so that people can hear that. And I guess it's Kankar, right? Or maybe
is it a DeAndre Jordan revenge game? I thought he never got there.
No,
did they lock him in the house? He never got there.
His original team was Dallas, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I thought he was always with the
made
Clippers.
His name, right?
No, he was always on the Clippers. He was in Lob City.
Oh, he's played on Dallas.
I swore he was on the Clippers, and then he tried to sign with Dallas, and that's when Blake Griffin and CP3 locked him in the house, and the contract flipped.
Yeah, don't doubt my useless memory of stupid stuff, Tyler. 2018 to 2019, 50 games he got. That's it, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a useless memory of stupid stuff, and that's one that's booked in there. I just remember.
I know you are like the revenge
guru. When did the contract thing come then? I got to look this up. Then maybe that came afterwards.
Yeah, I played enough 2K too in my day, where every year I knew who was on every team. So
there you go.
Yeah, I think the more we look at this Denver situation, like I don't know, Kankar's minutes. Now you got me wanting to pull a popcorn machine. We're like spending way too much time on this. This is all my fault, but
it's okay. I'm still in quarantine. We take your time.
Again, this slate sucks. Like it's not good. If anyone like comes in and says, "I love this slate today," like, you're kind of. So here's the thing. Kankar comes in.
What's wrong about loving this slate?
It's not a good slate spread.
So if this slate was on The Bachelor, you wouldn't give it a rose, or
no, it would not. Definitely not getting a rose from me. So Kankar actually comes in for Bruce Brown. He was the first guy in against the Pelicans. Some of those minutes, though, are rough. I mean, it's probably just too stupid and thin, and we're just talking about a bad slate. And I haven't seen what the chat's saying. They're probably saying stupid stuff about it. But
ever since we stopped talking about Westbrook, nobody said a word.
Yeah, we need to talk about Russell Westbrook more. How good would it be, Spread, if you see a screenshot from me tonight and it's like, Westbrook took me home tonight. Like, let's go.
That's
great.
The only thing
you'd have to get a Westbrook.
Tyler had one that said Jokic sent me home.
For the record, Tyler, I used to always play Westbrook. Like there was a time when like the dude was like, I forget, it was like a couple of years ago, and like people wouldn't play him, and his price was going up, and when he's crushing with Washington, and I was like, projections don't like it, but I'm just gonna keep doing it. And he was like low owned, and I didn't care, and it was great. I've been on and off the train at the right times, and I got back on for like probably like a 2-3 game stretch, and it worked out. I don't know if I'm getting on for sure tonight, but it's something I'm thinking about. Stay tuned on the 445 show. Maybe I'll make it my play of the day while I'm at it.
I already know Hoop's answer to this, but Spencer's got a good question here. Mangone, would you watch this slate or some soccer tonight?
Oh, I definitely would watch this slate over soccer, like 1,000%. Like it's like I haven't watched 1 second of World Cup yet. So the only time I've seen any of it is
Spain lost this morning while we were doing the show.
Yeah, I look away when I see it. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Tyler, your favorite player is in action, and my model says that I should bet him. What do you think about taking the Nuggets tonight against the Mavericks?
I couldn't bet this game if I was gifted $1 million. I just couldn't, because I bet against Dallas or I bet with them. They lose to Detroit or they blow a team out. If I back Jokic and he goes out there and he decides he wants to be a 300-pound point guard and not shoot the damn ball when he has the advantage, I'm going to lose my mind. There's a double-double in Denver wins for Jokic. It's -110. Seems like a smash spot. I'm not clicking that button for one simple reason. I'm not sending you messages at halftime spread, sending you box scores when the dude has 13 rebounds and 2 points on one shot. So I'm just going to stay completely away from this game. If I'm betting anything, I think it's Finney-Smith hits a couple threes. His over 1.5 is even money. I'll take a shot on that. But that's pretty much it for me in this game. I can't pick a side in this game.
Can I give you one more idea to talk about? Because and I feel like I've talked about too many guys. So I'll clean it up for the other show that we did.
It's right. Yeah, it's right up the DFS playbook, right? I mean, just mention every single person on the slate. Say you should have some.
I'll admit, not my best show. Sometimes you got it, but I feel like I've talked bad about guys too. Like I've talked about a lot of different ones, but like Jamal Murray at 7-1, right? We're looking for these guards that maybe could be somewhat underowned. If everyone goes Hero and they go Lowry, I think a lot of people might. Well, do I have another roster spot for that other guard? You start running out of spots. So and we're talking about there's two differences today. You can do the balance build with the field, or you can grab a stud. And if you go grab that stud, you are going to take some shaky values, or you could play that mid-tier build and try to get a little bit different with these mid-tier guys. I do think yes, these Cavs guards I talked about, Garland, Mitchell, great plays, guys you're going to consider. But some of these other options to pivot to, I just think they're kind of enticing. That's all. I'm going to make sure that I'm probably going to eat a lot of the good Heat value plays or just Heat plays. And I'm going to try and get different with the other 4 spots. And that's why I'm just talking through these. I'm talking through process. It's kind of, before the show, I didn't look at the slate at all, really. And I was like, man, as I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is just disgusting. So it's how we're kind of talking through process. I mean, it might be your guys' first look as well. And, that's why we're here. We got another show that I'll break it down with coming up at 4:45. So be sure to check that out, and I'll have my content up too as well.
I hope you fall in love with the slate by that time.
You never know, Spread. Tune in. You're a quarantine. Be sure to tune in.
Yeah.
If I fall in love with the slate, if I get on and I hear DC and Hooper this is an ugly slate, I might just do, the WWE heel turn and go, I love this slate. We're going to find the winners for the people.
Please do. That would be so good.
I might. You never know. Good. I mean, I will say once that Heat value kind of hit Spread, I definitely felt like I started liking what I was looking at a little bit more.
I like the idea of a Mangone heel turn, don't you? I'm a bigger wrestling fan than probably anyone else there, but I love that. I mean, Mangone just hitting DC when he's not looking with the chair.
Wouldn't that be a face turn?
He's
going to the good guy.
Yeah.
I love the good WWE turns, right? I showed up to Big T's and I hit him over a chair for 2 straight days, and then I turned back and we were arm in arm for the rest of the weekend. So
I love that.
It's always a good time.
Yeah, you never know which way we're going. All right, well, I think that we've given people definitely plenty to think about here on this slate, but let's lock it in. Let's take some stands and let's give out some best bets. Tyler, we'll start with you. Travis has a lot going on over there. Give him a minute to figure out where he's going betting-wise, because he just made 150 lineups in his mind. So start with you, Tyler. What's your best bet for today? Side total prop or player performance double?
I'm going back to the Miami game. If Killian Hayes beats me again, I'm going to go pedal for change in the middle of the road. Give me Tyler Hero 3+3s in Miami wins plus 160. He smashed this team before. If this beat up squad beats me again, I just put my hands up in the air. That's all I got.
All right. Travis, what do you have for us?
Yeah, I'm going to take the over on 220.5 on the Heat game. Maybe that's changed with the news. I'm not sure, but give me the over. This line's wrong.
It actually dropped. It went to 220.
Boom, 220. Let's take it. I got the over on that. That'll be my best bet.
Man, usually I put these in while we're giving them out. My bookmaker died on me. Don't know what's going on there, but I'm going to take the Nuggets -5. Sometimes when you're not feeling good and you're kind of in the brain fog of being sick, you just go simple. And the model likes the Nuggets. I like to fade the Mavericks on the road. What could go wrong, right, Tyler? Maybe I'll be messaging you at halftime
I
tonight.
love the spot they're in. It's just I can't touch either of these two teams.
Speaking of spots, Tyler, we're going to get Toronto at home against the Lakers after this big game tomorrow, right?
Oh, great.
What, you don't like that?
No, because that just lines up where I'm going to want to smash Toronto, and AD's just going to go nuclear against that small front court.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do it anyways. So, all right, there you have it. Travis, I think people already know that you're going on the Hardwood Show, but that's not all the content we provide at Run Pure. Do you want to let everyone know, like, all the content that's going up, like just say on the website for the members and the stuff that we're doing at Run Pure this week? Because it just seems like it's more and more every week.
Yeah, I'll be doing my single entry 3-max stuff. I do it pretty much every day for every sport almost. I mean, if I don't do it, I kind of post it at least and say on it, hey, I'm off today for this, but I'm probably doing a different sport. So, but I'll be doing the NBA one today, so that'll be fun. Be on the Hardwood Show. Tomorrow I got the NFL show with Spread. So it'll be fun to talk some NFL with him. I lost to Tyler with my Dolphins-Niners bet. So what can you do? I mean, Brock Purdy owned us. So, I mean, nothing you can do about it.
You might still get your wish, though. They might jump him in the power rankings now that our quarterback's foot fell off.
That is true. That's fair. We small victories here. Miami maybe leaps in that. But and I'll be doing stuff all week, right? NFL, NBA. So check it all out. Follow on Twitter as well. If you want to check it, it's Travis Mangone. We got Tyler. He's TH12 or something. And then we got Spread Astaire. So there you go. That's where you can find
Your
it.
TH_412, right?
Yep.
I got it wrong. 4-1.
You just forgot. Yeah, forgot the 4. You had
I was
12,
close.
right?
Yeah, you were thinking of Tom Brady. No, the other greatest of all time there, Tyler, the greatest player performance double better. So there you have it. We'll give out the picks one more time. Travis likes the over in the Lakers game. Tyler's going for 3+3s from Hero, right? And the Heat win. And I'm going to take the Nuggets
+160.
-5. So Tyler's going to cash tonight. He's going to be in a great mood tomorrow. I can already feel it.
I hope you're right, Spread.
No, it's almost like when you want to bet on someone right after their bad game, right? Like who had a terrible performance last night? Who's
Steph.
bad? Booker.
Steph, Booker, all of them.
Yeah, so it's like I want to take Booker tomorrow night too, right? To bounce back. So I'm betting on you to bounce back tonight. Anything you put on the playbook, I'm going to be tailing because I am here quarantining. So why else wouldn't I do that? So Travis, thanks again for joining us. We'll talk some football tomorrow. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I didn't even ask the whole show. I can't believe we went all this time and we haven't even told the people to hit the thumbs up yet. Unbelievable. Bad hosting on my part, but I'll be 100% and back soon. So thank you everybody for joining us. Hit that thumbs up button and Run Pure. If I can end the broadcast.